Good morning, everyone. I'm back in New York City. I'm back home, hence the blank wall. Um, but I promise you, this is not like a weird setup. It's just a very blank wall in my living room. And I'm so excited to be recording this podcast today because I've been kind of like itching to talk about several ideas, which I'm obviously going to pace out. But I don't know, just like all these ideas just started coming into my mind recently. And I've also been catching up with a lot of friends. And so it's not completely my own thoughts. It's conversations I've been having with a lot of my friends since we've been catching up. And today's has to do with dating. Surprise, surprise. It's not like 50% of my entire podcast is about dating, boys in my case. Anyways, besides the point, I just wanted to say a few things that I am no longer going to keep to a particular schedule, which is uploading Mondays and Sundays. That's what I promised in the beginning. But with the way that my schedule is looking, Mondays and Sundays is not very realistic. And so instead, I'm going to be uploading once a week. I don't know when during the week, but it's going to come out eventually at some time during the weeks. And if you're new here, like I always say, Hilo Buffalo is a recap of the week. I go over the good things that happened, the bad thing that happened, and the weird thing that happened. Hilo Buffalo. Okay, so starting with the high. This one's so freaking good, guys. I'm so happy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I got Billie Eilish tickets and they were so expensive. I tried to get them on the day of the sale, but I couldn't get them. And then they're resold right now for a higher price. But I put two and two together and I was like, my birthday's coming up and her concert's coming up and my parents have to get me a gift because that's just tradition. And so I called my dad and I was like, Dad, will you pay for half of my tickets for Billie Eilish? And it was the funniest call ever because I was like, I really want to go to this concert, Dad. And it's this artist I love, but her tickets are really expensive. Will you help me pay for half of it? And he was like, who do you want to see? And I was like, that's so funny of you to ask because you're not in mainstream media, so you're not going to know who this girl is, but whatever. So I was like, oh, it's Billie Eilish. And he was like, that girl, she's so old. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm so confused. And then he was like, Miley Cyrus? I was like, Dad, not Miley Cyrus, Billie Eilish. And he was like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, yeah, I know you don't know who that is. And he was like, that's all you wanted to call me for? Just to ask me for money? Which is so wrong. I just have to say something. Like, that is so messed up of my dad to say. I told him, I was like, what the heck? You can't even say that because, for one, I'm the only one that calls him. And I call him at least 3 times a week. And when I call him, 99% of the time, I'm calling him because I want to say hi. Does he call me? I don't think so. I'm so happy. When I found out that he would pay for them, I bought the tickets. I'm going with my friend Tara and I am just so excited. I did a little happy dance and I'm so excited. I love her. I love her. She's beautiful. Her voice is beautiful. Her music, beautiful. Next is the low. I got a piercing, and you guys know this. I talked about this a few episodes ago, but I have this piercing right here, and it's like right in the center of my ear, basically. It's like 2 stars dangling. It's called a hidden hidden helix. I just try to combine the 2 words, but hidden helix, and I love it a lot, but it is not healing well. And yesterday I was taking off my hoodie and I was very careless with the way I was taking off my hoodie and I just whacked my ear and it just started bleeding and I just don't know the way that this is going. It's been 2 months ish now. I have a feeling I might have to take out this one and that's gonna suck because I spent $400-500 on this piercing, which is so terrible, but whatever. So next is my buffalo. This one's so funny. I just did a tattoo for a couple, and this is my first couple's tattoo, which is so exciting and so interesting to do. It was very cute, but as you guys know, I'm so single, and I have never third wheeled harder in my entire life, guys. I mean, I am surrounded by couples all the time. A lot of my friends are in relationships, and so I hang out with a lot of couples. But damn, it was very cute though. They got hearts, and the story was so cute. And am I even allowed to say this? Is this like breaching their privacy? I don't know. But they got hearts, and the reason why they got the hearts was because they do the crossword with each other every single day, and they use their pen to draw hearts on each other, and so that's why they got the heart. And before I heard the story, I was like, oh, heart, cheesy. But when I heard the story afterwards, I was like, okay, that's actually pretty damn cute. That's a really cute backstory to this tattoo. Anyways, let's get into this podcast episode, which is very fitting for the buffalo I just talked about. This topic, I don't know exactly what title I'm going to use for this, so this can like bring certain people here with certain expectations. Basically, this topic came up because I've been talking to some friends, single and not single, about just the way that everyone's been dating, how you like meet people, dating apps, like all of that. And I'm just realizing more and more that our generation is just so screwed. We're so screwed, guys. All the single people, if you're single right now and you're not in school and you don't have an easy way to like meet new people, or you're just not extroverted, guys, I don't know what to say. Like for myself included, the dating apps aren't even looking out for us anymore. These apps are obviously their first priority, even though they're like, yeah, our mission is to, find you your partner or whatever crap they're saying now, and whatever they're marketing themselves as. Sorry, it's so shaky right now. I'm like kicking the table, and this is like the cheapest $40 coffee table you've ever seen, and so it's just like very wobbly. But the apps are not looking out for us. The app, well, in my opinion, the app's really good for figuring out your style of dating, what you like, what you don't like. It's good for short-term relationships. The success rate of finding somebody on these apps that are decent, normal, and I'm speaking for the US as of right now, is not very high. It's not high at all, actually. And so with that being said, I just don't know what the future looks like for us. I actually do think that we're going to have the most single people to have ever exist, not because we're less attractive or we're less desirable in terms of our characteristics and our qualities, just more so that we suck at interacting with people and don't want to and get a lot of social anxiety. And it doesn't help that social media is getting bigger and is more ingrained into our lives. It doesn't help that we're always on our phones whenever we step out of the home. So, of course, when you go outside, you're not going to pay attention to who's out there. And if you can't even pay attention to who's out there and who you're interested in, there's no way that anything could happen, or that you like bump into somebody and actually interact with them and have something happen. And COVID, nobody wants to talk to each other because of it. I just don't know. There's so many things. Oh, God, I don't even know where to start. I have like a ton of notes. I always show this, but like I have like so much to say. And these are just super random. But yeah, my friend decided to quit Hinge. She quit Hinge like last week or something. She woke up and she was like, I can't do this anymore. Like this is not going anywhere. And so I'm done. And I was like, girl, you cannot do that, because this friend of mine is just like me. And I was looking at her and I was like, love you, but how are you going to meet somebody without the app? Like, I know myself, and we are very similar. And as much as I want to say, like, I'm going to talk to somebody and like, we're going to hit it off, unless that guy, for me, that guy is like really smooth and not too smooth, because we've talked about this before, guys. I don't like when they're too smooth. If that guy is not smooth, if not extroverted, and doesn't hit on me, nothing's going to happen. Like, I know myself well enough to know realistically I am not going to approach them. And so even though I'm like in love with them, I'm not in love with them. But like, I'm like, oh my God, you're beautiful. You're so attractive. Like, you would be super nice to have as a boyfriend. Even though I think all these thoughts, the entire train ride, the entire time I'm standing next to him in a coffee shop, I will not make eye contact. I'm very avoidant. I will not, if anything, I will look like I'm annoyed with them existing. And I don't know how this came up, but I was just talking to one of my friends, and she was like, I think it's actually so funny how you act when you're around people that you are interested in or that you think are attractive. And I was like, huh? Like, have you actually seen me do this before? And she did, because it's very rare that I will show this side of myself in front of my friends. I'm very shy about showing my personality when I'm around people that I'm interested in, just because my personality does change. I do have a different personality. I become very avoidant, very annoyed, and I get very sassy. And I'm just straight up kind of mean. And it's very elementary of me, I know. But she was saying, like, this one time in college, we were eating and like studying at a coffee shop, and she said she saw this guy that she goes to class with, and she was like, he is so, so cute. And she was like, he's here at the coffee shop, but don't make it obvious. And so I turned my head and I look at him, and he's obviously really attractive. And I was like, damn. And she decided to go say hi to him. And I was like, dude, you should, because I was like, it would be really cute if they ended up dating each other. And, I was there with her, so I was introduced, and she was saying, like, dude, you were so different. She said, the moment that I interacted with him, my personality like switched like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not even going to hide it. Like, I know I'm like that. I'm a very avoidant person. And she was like, it was crazy to see you like do that. And I was like, yeah, I know, which is why I don't do it in front of people, because I'm cringing right now, even talking about it, knowing that I have a different personality. But hear me out, guys. The reason why I do this is because I don't want the person to have the satisfaction of knowing they have me, or that knowing that I really like them, or that I find them attractive, especially people who are attractive, because they approach situations knowing that they're going to be liked, or that they have the upper hand and the advantage because they're beautiful. And so I want to give them like the sleight of hand. Like, I want to like switch things up, keep them on their toes and be like, no, you don't have me. Actually, I don't think that you're going to get treated differently because you're attractive. And so I treat them rudely, or not the most friendly way, a little bit more sassy, because I can't give them that. Like, I will not let them have that from me. And it is such a annoying but funny thing that I do. It's so irrational. I know this, guys. I'm not even hiding how irrational this is. I know that this is so stupid of me to do. But yeah. But she's my friend. She's so different. She gets all giggly and like cutesy, and she's like, oh my God. Anyways, this is such a tangent. I don't even know how I got here, but yeah, this is, part of the entire subject. This is going everywhere, guys. I just want to like say everything I have to say about all I feel about dating apps in this generation, this time, at this age of being 23, about to be 24. And, the clock is ticking. And I actually just had a conversation with my mom and grandma when we were in Switzerland. I was just joking around with them, and I was like, let's place a bet, guys, on when you think I will get engaged / married. And I'm 23. My grandma goes, oh, 25. 25? Girl, what? That means I have to have a boyfriend 2 years ago. And I looked at my grandma and I was like, Grandma, I was like, I'm 23. I'm about to turn 24 in a month. How is this going to happen? Like, do you think I'm going to get engaged in the next year? And she was like, okay. I want you to get engaged in the next year. 25 is the age that you should be getting engaged. After 25, you're too old. Thanks. Thanks, Grandma. My mom's hypothesis is at the age of 27. She thinks I'm going to be 27 when I get engaged / married. And for my brother, I think she said 28, 29. And for my grandma, she said my brother would get married, engaged at 27, 28, I think. I forgot what it was. I put it on my notes app just because I just want to keep tabs on when it actually happens and to see if they're right or not. But isn't that just crazy? Like, the time is coming up, but I don't feel that pressure at all because I know I don't want to have kids. But I know that other ladies out there, if you guys want to have kids, you guys are probably like, well, if I want to have kids when I'm young, or like young, quote unquote young by society standards, then I gotta have a boyfriend soon. So I know that's lighting a fire in everyone's ass. And guys, you guys don't have to, if any guys are even listening. I don't know how many guys actually listen to my podcast, but yeah, you guys just don't have to worry too much. I've also been hearing about these like new things that have been coming up. So there's these like kind of forced scenarios that people are setting up so that they can meet people more naturally in real life. So you guys might have heard of these things, and they've been showing up on Instagram, on TikTok, reels and stories and whatever. But basically, I've been hearing that people go to run clubs to meet people. It's like the new way of like dating that's a little bit more wholesome than like, chatting someone up at the bar. What the hell? A run club, guys? You will never catch me at a run club, even if there's the added advantage of possibly meeting somebody cute there. Like, a run club, I look hideous when I'm running. I am angry when I'm running. Like, I am the worst person to be around when I'm running. That is the worst personality to meet out of all my personalities. And so why would I ever meet somebody at a run club? So you'll never catch me there. That doesn't work for me. So that is not an option. The other option is this thing that's happening only in Spain at this one grocery store. So there is this apparently a grocery store in Spain where at a certain hour on a certain day of the week or whatever, apparently if you go to this grocery store and you get a cart and then you get a pineapple and flip it upside down, you will indicate that you're single and looking for somebody. And the way that you start an interaction is you bump carts. When I heard about this, the face that I had, I was shocked. I'm walking a very fine line between, wow, that is so cute of us humans to come up with something like that, to just meet each other and interact with each other because we're so shy and so socially awkward. And the other side of this fine line is, what the fuck? That is the most stupidest thing I have ever heard of. That is so embarrassing that we would even come up with something like this and legit even try it out. Cannot believe it. If this is your first time hearing this, like, tell me that I'm not the only one that thinks this is crazy. Like, somebody comment down below and tell me what you guys think about this idea, because I can't believe this thing. Like, I seriously walk this fine line. I'm like, it's kind of cute. It's kind of like very wholesome of us. But the other side of it is like, we are idiots. Like, what is going on? This says so much about the state of socializing, dating in our generation, that we have to set these things up. And it's just so like, yes, it's natural because you're meeting in person, but it really isn't. if I were in this grocery store at this time trying this out, I couldn't do anything. I would just be aimlessly walking. I'd probably look so stupid, and I'd be so self-conscious of what I'm putting in my cart. Like, they're going to judge me on the types of food I'm putting in there. If I actually shopped, which is kind of impossible because I'd be straight up thinking about what I look like while I'm walking through this grocery store, and I would try really hard to not embarrass myself and kind of look cool while I'm grocery shopping, if that's even a thing, or like cute or attractive while I'm grocery shopping. If I legit could do it, people would think I'm like this crazy health person because I just buy so many vegetables and like no protein. People would look at my cart and be like, she's one of those like health crazed people. Like, she's trying too hard. And I would not find the right people. Yeah. But anyways, on the topic of Spain and just international things, I just went to Switzerland. And I just got back and I turned on my Hinge because I was just curious, guys. I've never been in Europe, and I was like, I've just heard some things about European boys, and I was like, just out of curiosity, like who's out there? What does it look like in Europe compared to the US? And I was just, I wasn't going to meet anyone because I was with my family, but still curious. So I turned it on, said I was from the US, was trying to meet some people, and I was honest, guys. Eventually, once I matched with some people, I told each of them that I was planning to use this app and turned it on in Switzerland because I was just curious about meeting people, and I wasn't planning to meet anyone in person because I was with my family visiting. I was very clear. Eventually, like, each guy knows that. And holy cow. What is going on with the quality of profiles that are in the US for guys compared to Europe? Not just the quality of the profile, but just the quality of the men. Not to stereotype Americans versus Europeans. Not to do that. I know this is like a very small subsect of people that I was looking at. I wasn't even in all of Europe. I was only in certain parts of Switzerland. I know this is very generalized. Okay, I'm going to point that out there. But based on what I was observing, you can't even invalidate what I was seeing in my little bubble of profiles that I was looking at and what I've seen so far in the US, in New York City and LA versus in Switzerland. But wow, when I look at profiles here in LA and New York, I don't know what kind of man I'm getting. When I go on a date, the standard is so not even existent. I don't know if I'm going to meet somebody who is so weird and just awkward or like just not what they portray themselves in their profile. Because their profiles already aren't that great. They're just not done well. The responses to the prompts are just so embarrassing. Sometimes spelling errors, sometimes one word answers, just like really bad answers that you just can't get anything from their profile. And then I switched over to Europe, and wow, pictures are beautiful. Like, pictures are great. The responses are really sweet. And just like when I would message people, they were just so proper and respectful, and they wouldn't ghost me. Every time, if I got to the point where I told them, hey, I'm just visiting, they were so respectful. Instead of ghosting me, they would message me back, and they were saying like, I'm actually looking for something serious, and I just know that if we don't meet in person, this is going to go to nowhere, but it was really nice talking to you, and good luck with everything, and I hope you enjoy Switzerland. Are you kidding me? Wow, that is so sweet of you. Thank you for being a decent human being. Here in US, no, I get we get ghosted left and right. That is such a normal thing. And because I wasn't seeing that in Europe, I was like, oh my God, I have to hold myself to a higher standard for these men because they're being respectful. And so I will not ghost them. And so I wasn't ghosting anybody. And they were just so polite in the way that they were messaging me. It was very sweet. And also, a lot of the European men were very like upfront with their affection. Like they would straight up say like, I really like this about you and things like that. And it was just very sweet and very wholesome and very like proper. But like that does not happen here in the US. Like maybe 1 out of like 10 people that I talk to will be like that. And it's just jarring when it happens here. But over there, it was just like every guy that I was like matching with, I was like, oh my God, like this is a whole other world. Like this is what you guys are getting, you European women. Like that is so nice. I feel spoiled here. But yeah, I just think that's crazy that here in the US, I don't know what to expect, but at least over there in Europe, I can expect the lowest standard is at least good respect for each other, no ghosting, proper, conversations. It was really nice. And not just that though, but guys versus girls profiles. So this is just a new revelation that I've had really recently because I decided to hang out with my friends who are single and we helped these guys create their profile on Hinge. And as girls, we gave them input on what we would like to see, what maybe most girls would like to see. And we decided after we made the profile that we would scroll through the girls that are available. And as a group, we swipe through these girls. And oh my God, why am I not lesbian? Why am I not bi? All these girls' profiles are so good. And it was crazy. When I saw this, I was like, oh my God, my profile is like not even, it's like kind of below average. Images were good. Their prompt responses were clearly thought out and like really witty and funny. And I was like, damn. Like I thought my profile was pretty good, but now that I'm looking at who I'm competing, quote unquote, competing against, I need to like up my picture game or something because these pictures are so good and everyone looks so cute. It was so funny because I was going through the profiles with everyone and my guy friends were like, are you sure you're not lesbian or like bi or something? And I was like, no, why? And they're like, there's like every girl that keeps coming up, you're like, oh my God, she's so pretty, or oh my God, she's so cute, or that's so funny. But it's true. Like I know how much effort they had to put into like getting a profile like that. Like it doesn't come naturally to me at least. And so in order for me to have that profile, I have to be like sitting there and thinking about it for a hot second. And I don't even have a profile like that. And so when it was just straight up one after another, all these profiles being amazing, I was like, that is insane. Because when I'm looking at all these guys' profiles, 90% of them, I'm like, not even second guessing. I'm like, no way in hell are we going to meet, because your profile is like scary for one, or like doesn't even tell me anything about you, or like maybe one picture shows your face and the other ones show like a picture of a landscape, a picture of your food that you made. This is what guys are getting to see all the time. But yeah, I just think it's crazy that that's like the standard across like girls and guys versus guys in one country versus another country. And the very last thing that I want to say, for one, the app itself, the business within itself, the very concept of these apps is ingrained in profit and capitalism, which does not work well with what love is supposed to be, dating is. It doesn't match. These are two very different things and should not go together. And so that already is a barrier to it all. then us being socially awkward and the standards being very inconsistent and just profiles not being very representative of what people are actually like in real life, and also how superficial it all is and just sad it all is while you're scrolling. That makes it even harder. Then the most fun part is actually meeting the people, and for one, finding out they're not the way that they are. But even when you do find out they are the way that they are and you're kind of interested, there's like this awkward 10-minute period that happens with almost every single date where you're like forced to find out what you have in common so you can kind of get the conversation going at a more reasonable and natural pace. And the only way you can start that off is by finding what you have in common. And it just reminds me of when in college and in high school, when you're like doing group projects, the teachers are always like, let's get to know each other, or let's do some social icebreaker activity. Let's find 5 things you have in common with the group. And you guys are like sitting there like, do you like blue? Like, I like blue. Or I really like food. What kind of food do you like? And it's like the most like forced, awkward thing. And then after the activity, you actually never become that close friends because it was the most awkward, forced thing that you could have ever gone through. That is exactly what it feels like. In the beginning, you just know you're like meeting at this point awkwardly, like very forcefully, because you know you're interested in each other to have this date, to potentially date. And that is just very awkward. And then you don't know really where to start. Do you like start talking about something on their profile, about their day? And it's like this small talk that happens. And it's just like, that is so painful, guys. I hate that part. And sometimes that whole like 10-minute period doesn't end because the date's obviously not going that well. And you guys aren't very you guys aren't really vibing with each other, and so that kind of lasts for a lot longer, and it's just very forced. I hate that. That is also a 3rd, 4th, 5th barrier of this whole experience. But yeah, 30, 40 years ago, the way that people dated was very, very different. 30, 40 years is not even that long. That is crazy. How much things have changed in the short amount of time that it has. I just cannot imagine how much worse it could get. I'm just so nervous for all of us. I want everyone to like find a partner if they want to find a partner. I want everyone to find their person or people if they want that for themselves. But it's not looking good right now. Unfortunately, for you and for me, if you're single right now, if you're dating someone right now, I'm so happy for you that you found somebody that you hopefully really care about and that is treating you well. But let me say, don't let all of these conditions and things that I've just talked about be the reason why you don't leave a person. Because even if it's pretty bad being single and trying to find somebody else, it doesn't mean you should stay with somebody that doesn't make you happy. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say for this. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to like and rate the podcast. I would really appreciate it. If you follow the podcast, you can be updated whenever I upload a new episode once a week. And same thing, if you turn on your notifications for YouTube, you will be notified as well when I upload the video format of the podcast. And yeah, bye.